So I slept well last night, really well, like really, really, really well. Like I just went out and I had a bunch of crazy dreams, and I think it's because I took magnesium glycinate, just pure magnesium glycinate, not sleep minerals, just magnesium glycinate, and it just knocked me out. And I've been having these cramps lately, and just random ones like under my rib and stuff, not under my rib, but under my arm by my rib. And I think those are magnesium related. And I haven't been taking magnesium very much recently, just been taking lots of salt because my body kind of builds up salt stores. It's the thing your body does. Your body actually builds up intracellular sodium and magnesium and other electrolytes as well. So I've been buffing up my sodium balance, and I feel like now I needed some magnesium. And I mean, holy cow, even making this video, I feel like so calm. I'm just like magnesiumed out. I'm going to keep taking magnesium. I'm going to keep on taking magnesium until I have a bowel movement. And after I have a bowel movement, I'm then going to eat a bunch of steak and then take some Vyvanse because I haven't taken Vyvanse yet today. And the Vyvanse will kind of like push the magnesium. I've done this before. I feel like if you take a ton of magnesium before you take a magnesium dependent stimulant like Vyvanse, because you need magnesium to act as a cofactor in the production of norepinephrine, serotonin, dopamine that does in the brain. So after doing that, I get like, first of all, it clears the gut out, which is nice. I get this nice, like pooping. I just poop. So not that I'm struggling to poop right now. I just took so much magnesium last night that I slept amazing. I'm like, I'm clearly magnesium deficient. So I'm just going to load up on magnesium. And the reason I'm going to wait until I load up on magnesium to eat is because if I take magnesium after eating, it'll interfere with digestion, especially in the quantities I'm going to be taking. Maybe taking like 10 plus grams of magnesium glycinate. Probably already had 10 grams today. Yeah, I think I probably had about 10 grams today. Probably taking maybe another 4 grams. Who knows? Taking a lot of magnesium glycinate today. So it would interfere with digestion because the magnesium glycinate has a basic pH. So it's a buffer. It would raise. So acids and bases work because low pH means acidic, high pH means basic, range from 0 to 14. 7 in the middle being neutral, which is water. So make my stomach more basic or at least less acidic, because I think it's more of a buffer. I don't think it's not like sodium hydroxide, which is a very strong base. It's just really a buffer. So it's going to decrease my stomach acidity, which would make it harder for me to digest steak, which is not what I want because I want to eat that steak. And if I just keep taking magnesium throughout the day, I'm just going to be very sleepy because it just kind of makes me more relaxed. I'm just taking a lot of magnesium. So if I take magnesium while drinking green tea, just because green tea is so awesome, and a little bit of a stimulant, so it is I feel like the stimulants kind of keep my gut moving and prevent my body from just building up a bunch of magnesium liquid in my gut, which is a small possibility, not very likely. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. Sometimes you just take supplements and then they just sit in your gut and then you puke them up like a few hours later. I've just puked a lot, so that's kind of something I've experienced a lot, is just puking up supplements from hours ago. I puked in the sink and then I'm like looking at the puke and I'm like, it's a B vitamin. I took B vitamins like yesterday. Jeez Louise. Like just stuff like that happens. So taking the magnesium and then green tea just kind of keeps things moving, I find. And then after I hit a kind of max with magnesium indicated by bowel movement, I'm taking 2 grams at a time. If I took more at a time, I would have the bowel movement faster. But I'm really trying to load my system up with magnesium because I've been getting these cramps, like I said, and I took magnesium last night and I slept like a baby. So it's clearly a very effective strategy. And I've done this before, again, numerous times. And so then I take the Vyvanse and then I take the caffeine and then my body goes stimulant. But because I have magnesium kind of latent in my system, like I feel like this is something to look into, but I feel like stimulant speed, they increase the speed at which things move from my gut to my cells. I feel like they do. And I think that there's studies I've read that have verified that, especially with caffeine and metabolizing food. So I take the stimulant, and then the magnesium rushes into my cells, and my metabolism ramps up, and I just feel like this stimulated king with a brain full of magnesium and dopamine, because I get even more dopamine because my body is just ready to do whatever the Vyvanse wants my body to do, because I'm full of magnesium and minerals and food. Because I mentioned, like I said, I was going to eat food, eat all the, probably take like 10 milligrams and then take the other 20 milligrams after eating the food. We'll see. Planning on taking 30 milligrams total, which is what I'm prescribed, because you don't want to like fuck around with your brain. You only get one of these things, so not just recommending taking these things willy-nilly, but I didn't even want to take these things on an ongoing basis. Like, I actually saw a video before I made this video about how firstborn children have more lead in their body because of, I mean, just everyone had lead because they used to put it in the gasoline. So when the mother is offloading the heavy metals into her child's body, which is what they do, I get all the lead. So I got all the lead, which is probably why I had insomnia that my siblings did not have. So, yeah, that's also, this is a weird thing, but every week and every month, I feel more with it than I've felt at any other subsequent week or month of my life. Which is really weird, because I'm just wondering just how fucked my body is. Because unfucking myself is bringing me to heights that I had never achieved even as a child or adolescent. And I'm like, it's good though. I mean, it's nice. It's like, wow, I'm really healing my body because I feel better than I felt at any other point in my life. But then I'm also wondering, I'm like, holy cow, what the hell is going on at other points in my life? Maybe lots of lead in my body, which also it hurts your body's ability to offload iron and mercury and other heavy metals, and probably vaccines, you know? God dang, reading about all these vaccine injured people and just understanding the immune system and looking at what's in these vaccines. I don't know. It's pretty crazy reading about all this stuff. But anyway, though, so I think honestly, I may have just had excess lead in my body for my whole life. And then the lead prevented my body from detoxing the mercury and whatever that was in the vaccines. And then I just kind of like experienced low metabolism for my childhood leading up to adolescence, at which point insomnia, I mean, I had insomnia my whole life, but insomnia really kicks off in adolescence, and my metabolism just just fighting from like the age of 12 to like be able to function. Yeah, not fun. Like really not fun. Like I had no energy as a 12-year-old. Very little energy. Much less energy than I have now at 26. With 2 kids and a third on the way. So, one thing I'm doing that I think is really helping is carnivore, high fat carnivore, because the high fat allows my body to detox more heavy metals. And then also just consuming as much green tea as humanly possible, while also drinking my own fermented spit tea to help my gut microbiome heal, because your gut is the main way your body detoxes heavy metals in your poop. And if you constantly have heavy metals in your poop, then the poop, as it's forming, is going to grow bad bacteria, because bad bacteria love a heavy metal rich environment, which is over time going to shift the microflora balance of your and microfauna balance of your gut to bad bacteria, which will actually prevent your body from even detoxing them at all. And then you'll just start absorbing all the heavy metals from the food you're eating instead of getting rid of the heavy metals from your body, which is what I believe my body did for a long period of time. And I think artificial sweeteners, I actually know artificial sweeteners made that much worse. And that drinking energy drinks was probably what caused me to, almost certainly what caused me to have a have issues. If you go watch the first video I ever made on my channel, I talk about how I ran into issues on the carnivore diet. That was because of energy drinks. I guarantee it. I effing guarantee it. It was energy drinks. And that created more bad bacteria, which prevented the absorption of good nutrients and increased the absorption of heavy metals. And then heavy metals cause your body to need more nutrients, use them poorly, use up enzymes. Like, it's pretty in depth. I'm writing a book about it right now. So basically, like, look up Andy Cutler protocol research, but heavy metals affect every single system in your body. They affect your nervous system, they affect your brain, they affect enzyme production, they affect your organs, everything. And I think my body had a massive heavy metal problem. I think it had a huge problem with heavy metals. And I think that's one of the reasons why fasting and green tea in conjunction with chlorella and this very strict elimination diet that I'm doing work. Because the green tea, like, I drink like a gallon of green tea every day, and I have for like over 2 years. And I can think. And I have energy. And I'm not shitting my brains out all the time, constantly nauseous. Nice. Very nice. Very appreciative of that fact. I am very happy that that is my current reality. But I believe that the reason that this all happened is heavy metals, and I believe that metabolism, our fuel sources, the state of our cells, the state of our minds have a lot to do with it. Our bodies actually shift into a detox-oriented state of being when we're calm, when our HPA axis is regulated. Deep breathing encourages detox. Meditating, I've meditated every day. That shifts my brain and body into a detox-oriented state of being. I'm not even joking. When I first started doing all this like 2 years ago, like this specific green tea kick 2 years ago, I was like unable to meditate. I would still meditate, but I would just sit there and I would just have my brain go insane. Like, it was just nuts. Like, I mean, like, at this point in time, I was like the pornography addiction that I thought I'd kicked had like resurfaced, and I was like struggling with pornography again. I was like, well, but it was like, it wasn't even like a pornography problem. It was just like my brain was nuts, and I would just see stuff that would trigger me because my brain, like, we live in a like pornographic society, and I would see stuff that would trigger me. And then my brain would just not be able to stop thinking about pornography for just go crazy. Like, it would just go crazy. And this was specifically, I think, when I was like health coaching on Reddit. Like, I would see like people just post nudes all over fucking Reddit. And it would just like, I don't know. I mean, like, my brain just wouldn't work. I was like very much struggling to regulate my attention. And this happened gradually, though. Like, this happened gradually. Like, I mean, I had the same issues on carnivore, consuming energy drinks before I started taking Adderall, because that's why I started taking Adderall. Also, magnesium is a mild chelator. Zinc is a mild chelator. Even salt is a mild chelator. I think all these people on carnivore who are reacting to anything and everything, like magnesium, salt, zinc, etc., they have heavy metal toxicity problems. They're chelating these heavy metals, allowing them to move into the bloodstream and then redistribute into the organs and brain. It's the heavy metals getting into the brain. Like, if you have a redistribution event, your brain feels insane. And I was basically having redistribution events constantly. Every time I take Adderall or eat food, my body would start redistributing these heavy metals into my brain. And it would just make me feel like schizophrenic. I basically felt like I had chronic fatigue or schizophrenia. I mean, not really schizophrenia. I've had psychotic breaks before, but I actually think might be tied to BHT, because I started having the beginning, like, just, if you're 14 minutes into this video, I'll tell you about my psychotic breaks, because they're not that interesting, honestly. So I've had psychotic breaks since as long as I can remember, and 2 to 3 times a year. Actually, haven't had. I had the beginning of one like a few weeks ago, and then it just ended. It's like 10 minutes, and then it just ended. It didn't escalate from there, which was nice. But I think that could have been tied to BHT because I was taking paracetam at the time, and the paracetam I've since had tested. Screw you, Science Bio, for putting BHT in your paracetam or not testing it. But the paracetam has BHT in it, so I think the BHT could be causing that instability. Because I definitely noticed that paracetam, while I would get benefits from paracetam, I would also have weird anxiety that built the entire time I was taking paracetam while my body suffered from various symptoms of inflammation to the point where I would stop taking paracetam and then start fasting again. And then I would start, I would basically, I was getting a phone call I'm going to ignore because I'm on a roll. So then we go back on Adderall. You just go back through my paracetam and lion diet videos. Just go watch them. This is why I make these videos. So you can just see what it is I'm doing. Go in the doobly-doo and look at it, or go on my channel and see the playlists. I mean, whatever works for you. Let me know in the comments how you like to view your playlists. But anyway, so yeah, so the psychotic breaks, they started as long as I can remember. I was like, I think like the earliest I remember, I must have been 5. No, I must have been like maybe 7.5. Or maybe 5. I know. I'm trying to remember if I was sharing a room with my brother then. But I remember, I don't think I was sharing a room with my brother yet, but I remember calling my parents in and being like, the ceiling fan keeps yelling at me. Tell it to stop. And at first they'd humor me and they'd tell the ceiling fan to stop yelling at me. And then after like the 7th time, they were like, Devin, cut it out. Like, cut it out, Devin. And I was like, oh, they can't hear the ceiling fan yelling at me. And it was just sort of like the ceiling fan makes the ceiling fan noise. But the way the psychotic break would work is that this noise would keep on intensifying and intensifying and intensifying until it just sounded like people screaming. Like, not like people screaming bloody murder, but just sort of like thousands of people screaming in the distance amidst the sounds of rocks and water. Yeah, just weird. And then also everything felt not real. My hands felt a million miles from my head, and they felt like balloons. Like, I've been very feverish before, so it was like that sort of feverish sensation where it's like, and like nothing's real, and like my head became this like giant cathedral that I'm like, it not actually a cathedral. I'm not hallucinating anything. I just hearing. It's more like my brain is interpreting the auditory input as a hallucination, but I'm hearing the same thing, but it sounds different. That's the best way to put it, is the hearing was the same, but sounding was different. That sort of meaning attribution function of my neurology was different. And this would go on for about an hour. It usually always went on for about an hour, and it was accompanied with intense feelings of panic and doom. I just learned to, as St. Terrence McKenna says, keep breathing, keep looking. Keep breathing, keep looking. And yeah, so I would keep breathing and I would keep looking, and this just went on about 2 to 3 times a year for my entire life up until the age of 21 when it stopped. I actually stopped that when I met my wife. I mean, it's kind of weird, but the last psychotic break I had before the 10 minutes, which again, I just kind of like, I was in bed with my wife and I just turned over. I'm like, hey, having a psychotic break again. She's like, really? Like, yeah. And she just like cuddled me and just kind of like went away. I was like, nice. But yeah, the only other one I had was when I was driving my wife from Florida to West Newbury, Massachusetts, and I just started having one, while I was driving, and I told her, and then like I think she like put her hand on my shoulder and it went away. I sound like such a freaking woo woo sap right now. It's like, oh, my wife cured my psychotic breaks. Mer, mer. I mean, I told people about this before. It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's like, I talked to a neuroscience professor I had at UMass about it, and she was, I liked her. She was cool. But she told me that basically it's unlikely that these things have just been documented before and I shouldn't really worry about it, because if it was going to develop into something, it would show some trend of developing into something, and it might just be my brain's way of dealing with stress, which could be the result of heavy metal toxicity. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to know. I'm in the process of knowing. These are all threads that I'm weaving together in the book that I'm writing. I'm just talking about them here too because it's part of my daily update video, and also cool information for you guys. And also, I'm writing a goddamn book. I might as well practice explaining this stuff even more so I can do it even better in the book. Because I'm going to publish that shit and put it out there for, not shit, publish that excellent book and put it out there for the world to see. So, I might as well explain it a few more times. So, BHT, psychotic breaks, but they pretty much stopped though, which is nice. Adderall, paracetam, Vyvanse, magnesium. My gut's doing a thing. My wife was giving me a lot of phone calls actually while I was making this video. So I'm going to go give her a call back now because I think this is a natural ending point. Tune in tomorrow, and best of luck to you, gentlemen and ladies.